Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the GW Panther, the Tier 7 German SPG. This one's located on the north spawn of Cliff, and it's under the command of Photobomber of FUN2. And he's got 2 marks of excellence on the barrel.
It's time to battle. Considering what my heroes have been through, this will be a walk in the park.
Well, it sounds like Arnie's on the con, and there's a mark on the front of the vehicle. Not sure what that's all about. But anyway, the GW Panther, the Arty that never got built but was designed, was ready, and they just didn't go ahead with it. 15cm howitzer, it's capable of doing 600 alpha and 39mm of pen with a 7.2 meters burst radius. Now he's actually chosen to go right to the very back there without knocking the tree over so that he doesn't make his position obvious. He's already spotted a Cromwell who's come up onto the donut on the western end. Rounds out. Direct hit with his first shot. Now he changes position straight away. You don't want to give the enemy a clean shot at you. It's so obvious on the firing positions for Arty. At least most of them are. Okay, his next target is GW, who's come up to the rocks near the western pass. Rounds out. Another direct hit, this time for 248. Now the standard reload for this Arty is 25.89 seconds, and you can see here that Photobomber's got it down to 21.21. And you can see where that last shell impacted, right on the roof, right above where the gun is. Okay, he's dialing in. Don't worry about the rescue moving. That's an error that Wargaming has never fixed in the past 6 years. It wanders. It's a replay bug more than an actual bug in the game, because when the game's being played, it doesn't tend to do it, but it definitely does it when you do the replays. Okay, next target is, I think, was an M10. Was it? Oh, no, it was an Achilles, actually. Yep, well, it is basically an M10 in British hands with a 17-pounder gun. Got a VK360-1H near the centre line. I like the way that Photobomber's keeping himself busy by finding new targets. That probably landed right next door to the target. The idea is to keep kicking out as many shells as you can, as fast as you can, on actual targets, because if you can hit them, then obviously you're more likely to get a Confederate medal. And if you do get a Confederate medal, even if your team loses, you're going to become a winner, because you will get the extra for getting a medal. Courageous resistance, as they call it. But getting that extra credits and extra... oh, another direct hit on the VK. It really does make a difference overall. There's the Achilles. He wasn't hit with the last shot, but there's 2 Achilles there. Actually, the other one has been hit, so he may have hit the other one. Okay, he's going to give this one a go. Rounds out. Oh, it went over the top of them and actually exploded behind. And neither of them were hit by that shot. That was very unfortunate. I suppose that was what they would call a shell that was lifted by the air and carried on. Rounds out the E25. And that's a direct hit. Oh yes, he's definitely been hit. He's been stunned. He is taking fire. And I think we're going to get the assist. Will we get the shot? Yes. Finally managed to get all the assists on that one. Okay, line up and rounds out. Looks good. Direct hit. In fact, it was a penetrating shot for 613, which makes it a high roll. Of course, the armor on the M10 wasn't particularly strong. They took some of the armor off, well, quite a lot of the armor off the M4 hull, before actually designing or finishing the M10 design. And both Achilles go down. They decided that to make the vehicle light so that it could actually move faster, but in doing so, they actually made the thing more vulnerable in many ways. But the M10 was still preferred to many of the other tank destroyers that they had available. Well, in fact, actually, it was the only tank destroyer they did have available until, of course, the M36 came along with a 90mm gun. And basically, that was just an M10 with a different turret. Of course, then the Hellcat came along, and that was a completely different vehicle. Rounds out. Looks like that one hit the rock face just ahead of the target. You can see there's a mark on the wall. Yeah, definitely hit the rock face. There's the T-150 decided to move at that point, and now he's vulnerable. He could be a one-shot. Oh, but he's gone behind the rock, and he does go down. We've got an FP304 in completely the wrong place. See if we can get him. Well, he splashed him for 124 million vulnerable, and the Type 58 took him out, so we got the stun assist off that one as well. And now, Photobomber's got the communications expert skill running as well as concentration. There's the concentration, there's the communications expert, and that means now his crew skills are really working well. Another direct hit. I always like to try and get the communications expert skill up and running as quickly as I can, and sometimes it's just about actually getting shells into enemy targets that your teammates can see so they can then shoot at it. Rounds out. Well, somebody may have pulled back from that corner. He might not be precisely where we last saw him. Due to he was holding that corner, but of course he's taken a lot of damage by holding the corner. It's down to 1/3 of his hit points now. This Arty carries 30 rounds in total, and we're down to the last 6 stun shells, but we do have some extra HE, well, I call it extra HE, the non-stun variety, which actually does have more power. Of course, it's another silly invention by Wargaming to try and persuade people not to use stun. They brought the stun mechanic into the game to compensate for the loss of damage, and then they brought in shells which increased the damage again. Would have been better if they'd left it all alone, just left us with shells that can actually do proper damage and take enemy tanks out with just one shot. Now, we're anticipating that there is a KV-3 in that general area, but we did see the tracer from the enemy Arty coming out from here. It was the GW Panther. We think he's behind those bushes there. If he fires again, we'll probably see it. And of course, if he is observing my advice and firing as quickly as he's loaded on a new target, then we should see the tracer coming up very, very quickly. In fact, there goes the tracer. Just saw it. So that LTG is difficult to hit because the rock's in the way. And there's a Rudy Polish there as well. Not sure we can get that one on. No, the IKV-65 now is in a lot of trouble because he is being hit by the GW Panther. If he stays out in the open with his thin armor, he is going to get taken out. So I would not be surprised. So if we can do something to actually stop that GW. Photobomber's waiting for the next shot to show him where the guy is. Goes back to the map. The IKV hugged the rock there to actually protect him, but now the Rudy's come in. He kills the Rudy, but I'm worried that the GW is going to try and fire at him again. And now we've got a Challenger right up on top of the rock. And unfortunately, the IKV652 goes down to the LTG. But that's a good hit.
The next one should
230.
knock them out.
Challenger's sitting up there thinking he's covered by the rock. And the KV3, the G2 pulled all the way back, but the KV3 came forward to replace him. He's just sitting behind that rock. Much more likely to hit the rock than the KV3, but the shell went to the left and long. Oh, and there's the Tracer again. This is quite a fast-firing Arty when you think about it. Only 20 seconds to reload. 20.95. You can see there are shots going onto the hill. The other Arty on our team is the Hummel, of course. They lost their FB304 because he made a rather impetuous move and got splashed and then hit and taken out. But there's the G2. He's a one-shot. Rounds out. And that's a kill.
Be or not to be. Not to be.
Thank you, Arnie. Yes, whenever you see a little enemy tank hiding behind a rock,
Thanks.
and they've only got a few hit points,
Positive.
you can normally just splash them to death. Just land the shell next door to them, and that's the end of their game. So, KV3 on this corner. So, land a shell on the side. No, on the ground next to him. That's it, just there. And that should do the trick. It'll certainly encourage him to move because he's got full hit points at the moment. But he won't be so happy if he starts getting hit. We're still seeing the Tracer coming from the GW Panther on the enemy team. There's only 4 enemies left. Rounds out. That's a direct hit. He did get that one absolutely on target. And yes, you can see the KV3. And he took a big hit there. He's backing off. He doesn't like what's happened to him. Now, we might be able to get another round to him, get him stunned again whilst our teammates are firing. And he gets another hit. Unfortunately, we've run out of stun shells now, so we're not getting any stun. And the KV3's gone down, and that means now there's only 3 enemy left. GW, the LTG, and the Challenger. And we know where the Challenger is. The LTG is the one that we've got to worry about because he's somewhere around the other side of the cliff. The Challenger's coming down from his perch. And in fact, actually, he's coming towards our side of the map. He's going round the outside. And we've been spotted. It's the LTG. Got to change position immediately. Enemy RT will be on us in a flash. In fact, the enemy RT went after our, I think it was our box tank, because he received several hits. Hummel's come down here for safety. In fact, he was backing us in to this corner. And enemy RT's firing in our direction. That was a heat round, I think, or at least an arm piercing, because there was no explosion. And we just lost the box tank to their LTG. Not very nice for that Hummel to do what he did, to try and force us to go into that corner. Burz is coming back to try and help us. And another heat round, because there's no explosion. These rounds that are going in, he's probably got the wrong mix of shells. And that's why, in fact, he has been spotted and he is slotted. Okay, that means now we've just got the enemy LTG and their Challenger. Last time we saw the Challenger, he was making his way around the cliff. Down to the last minute. It's beginning to look a lot like this is going to be a draw. The T25-2 is the only one in the cap. The only could have got into the cap, but he's the only one. And I don't think the T25-2 is actually helping himself, because all that's going to happen is the Challenger will just try and get a shot on him if he can. Well, the Oni's there hoping to act as a guard to stop the Challenger shooting the T25L2, but no, that Challenger's long gone. 10 seconds to the end of the game. And sadly, that ends up a draw. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was a first-class tanker for Photobomber of FUN2 in the GW Panther. He put as much effort in as he could, but unfortunately he couldn't lead the horse to water to get that final win because his teammates just wouldn't get into the cap. So, first-class tanker, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 10. And he got a Gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points of his own vehicle, as well as a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. It definitely worked for him to keep pumping those shells out as fast as he could, and so he ended up with not just 1 medal, but 3 medals out of this one. 3,741 was the win 8. Unfortunately, we're not going to see win 8s much longer, because unfortunately, I think there's something wrong that's preventing us from getting the win 8 results on what record. Anyway, going back to the team scores, we can see the highest damage was 2,945 hit points, and that went to Photobomber. Second highest was the LTG, who got 2,201 on the enemy team. And third highest was the T25-2 on our team, who did 1,766. So you can see how far above the others the Photobomber was. He was 700 hit points above the others. So he was definitely operating on a different scale. And you can see that the GW Panther on the enemy team was basically working on the same premise, to keep pumping those shells out, because he got 1,654, but in the end, he had no protection and he got taken out. When it came to kills, the high scorer was the LTG, 4 kills to him, 3 kills to the Type 58, 2 kills to the T25-2, the Oni, and the Hummel on our team, who got a Starks medal. So he actually did take 2 hits from the LTG before he dived down into our area. And the GW Panther and the Achilles, or one of the Achilles, on the enemy team. And we can see Photobomber only got the 1 kill. But when it came to base XP, he's a little higher up the table. You can see the top scorer was the LTG. He got 622. I think that's because he did a fair bit of spotting from the top of the hill. Second place was the Type 58 with 573. And third place went to Photobomber with 552. He fired 23 rounds. That's an awful lot, but he kept pumping those rounds out as much as he could. And it was only right at the very end, when there was no enemy in sight, that he had nothing he could shoot at. He got 9 direct hits on the enemy, 1 penetrating shot, 16 splash, 2,945 hit points of damage, all of it at more than 300 meters. So let's have a quick look to see which one did he penetrate in this game. Well, I think it was the Achilles, wasn't it? Yep. He hit the Achilles for 613 hit points, 1 penetrating round. He actually damaged 8 of the enemy, killed 1, and got 34 hit points of damage assistance and 396 of stun assist of 14 stuns. On a premium count, he actually made a loss of 2,167 credits, and I think that's down to premium consumables at full price. But he's still got the courageous resistance, because of course he kept firing and got those medals. And he also took away 2,691 experience points out of this one as well, including courageous resistance again. So very well played by Photobomber. It's sad that it was a draw, but that's down to the fact his teammates weren't that keen to actually move about after they knew where the LTG was, but they weren't so keen to move about after the LTG ended up near our cap area. And in fact, actually, some of the guys were coming back to deal with that LTG at the moment that the game ended. Photobomb himself, he couldn't have moved forward. If he had, he would have been spotted by that LTG, and then potentially he could have been taken out. But it was his teammates, the Oni and the T25-2, could have gone into the gap area. They could have prompted the enemy to try and shoot at them, and that would have given Photobomber a target he could have hit, but it just didn't work out. Hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.